Butch, I can't believe you cut out all my great moments. So it is March 30th, 2026. I was at Center Street Brewing Company last night. Talked to the owner. Very happy that we're going to be playing there a couple of times. Playing in April, playing in July with Comf. Be there or be square. But anyhow, Comf will not be able to join us today. He has a prior engagement. I'm just going to leave it at that. But the boys in the band know what the reason why he's not here. But in any event, we are getting ready for our show, so here we go. Ready? When I'm feeling blue, all I have to do is take a look at you, and I'm not so blue. When you're close to me, I can feel your heartbeat, I can feel you breathing right here. Wouldn't you agree, baby? Kind of love. We got a kind of. Anytime you want to, you can fit into anything you want to, anytime at all. When I kiss your lips, oh, I start to shiver, change your inside. Wouldn't you agree, baby, we got a groovy kind of love, got a groovy kind of When I'm feeling blue, all I have to do is take a look at you, and I'm not so blue. You're in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I will shadow, I don't care. Wouldn't you agree, baby, you and me got a groovy kind of love. We got a groovy kind of love. We got a groovy kind of love. We got a groovy
Part of that key change got me too.
That's all right. Yeah, practice with it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for that warm applause. It's great to be back at the brewery. We are the Bethany Brothers. We were here a year ago, and not only were we here today, we're going to be here another month or two, and we're going to have our California Bethany brother with us. But before we get into that, I just want to talk about this next song. First of all, we saw it from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. There was something you laughed about when I said the 20s. You didn't think that made sense? Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway, so we generally don't do requests, but this next gentleman came up to us and he said, "Can you guys do this song? I want to do it for my wife at a special event for her." And after we listened to it and after we worked on it with the gentleman, we said, "Yeah, sure." So, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Mr. Frank Pegnataro. Frank, thank you for coming up. And the other thing I want to mention to you is that Frank is actually the brother of our drummer, Randy Pegnataro. So for this song, we are the Pegnataro Brothers Band. And later on in the show, we're going to have another brother coming up. So in any event, this is a beautiful song, and it's called Remember When.
Remember when
when. Remember when. The sound of your feet was music. We danced to victory. Brought back the love. We found trust. So we never give it up. Remember when. Remember when. 30 seems so old now look back. It was just a stepping stone to where we are, where we've been. Said we do it all again. Remember when. Remember when. We said when we turned gray, when the children grow up and move away, we won't be sad, we'll be glad for all the love we had, and we'll remember when. Beautiful, Frank. Thank you very much. And I think that's pretty close to the way we're going to do it. You know? I don't want to overpower you. I don't want to do too much singing. So, Frank, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. Now,
Thank you.
would you stay up for another song with us, please?
I'd be happy to.
All right. So, again, we do songs from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And what I would like to mention originally is that we love, encourage, support audience participation. So, if you hear a song and you say, gee, I'd kind of like to sing it, and you're not feeling it, have another beer, and then say it again. But seriously, you hear a song and you want to join us, please do. Butch, hit us off. There she was, just walking down the street singing. Thank you for helping us out here. Everybody, another warm hand for Frank Pignataro. So for our next song, I have two friends out here in the audience who've come to hear us many times. And And this is a Beatles song, but we have, or at least I have modified it a little bit so that I can make it the song for these two friends. So Travis and Steffi, this song's for you.
Ready?
Yep. Travis had a fellow in the marketplace. Steffi, the singer in the band. Travis says to Steffi, girl, I like your face. And now he says to her, she takes in my hand. Oh, la-dee-oh, la-la, life goes on. La-la, life goes on. Oh, la-dee-oh, la-la, life goes on. La-la, life goes on. Travis takes a trolley to her store, buys a 20-carat golden ring. Takes it back to Steffi, waving out the door, and you do it. Soon again you say, oh, la-dee-oh, life goes on. La-la, life goes on. Oh, la-dee-oh, life goes on. La-la, life goes on. Years we have found our home sweet home. It's right where we are. Travis and Steffi go. Happy ever after the marketplace. Travis lets the children like a hand. Steffi stays at home and does a pretty face. And she goes in with a friend. Oh, la-dee-oh, la-la, life goes on. La-la, life goes on. Oh, la-dee-oh, la-la, life goes on. La-la, life goes on. Years they have built home sweet home. It's right in the yard of Travis and Steffi go. Travis lets the children lend a hand. Steffi stays at home and does a pretty face. And she goes in with a friend. Oh, la-dee-oh, la-la, life goes on. La-la, life goes on. Oh, la-dee-oh, la-la, life goes on. La-la, life goes on. Everyone's fun, sing la-dee-oh. All right. How you liking your guitar, Butch?
I like it. I don't like this patch as much as the other one.
All right, so you know what? Let's now go to beginning of set 2. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's do end of set 1, which is the Who song.
Okay.
Go from there into set 2.
Okay. Yeah.
That's gonna be a good first couple of songs, it is. Get everybody going.
Good warm-ups.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll let me get ahead of me sometime.
Absolutely.
Won't get fooled.
We won't get fooled again. So, I'm probably gonna tell this at the brewery, which just because I love it. But we all come, we bring songs to the group. I brought this song to the group. My buddy Butch over here, who is a much more well-trained musician than I am. He plays leads, he can do all this stuff, he can read music. I haven't read music for 50. Anyway, I bring this song to him and say, Butch, we gotta do this song. And he says, yeah, but there's 2 problems with it. Problem number 1 is, you can't play acoustic guitar with that. Problem number 2 is, you can't sing it in that key. And you know what? He was absolutely wrong. Hit it off, Butch.
Ready?
In the street, So here's what's gonna happen.
I thought I did a great though.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. Okay? So Butch, let's just do a quick into the beginning, okay?
Beginning?
Just stop. I'm gonna cut it short, but just do it. So I'm gonna do this. Second time, and then come into the beat.
All right, I'll
Okay?
try to remember that.
Okay, let's do it from the beginning. We're not gonna do the whole song. We're just gonna do the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Butch Peter Townsend Blois on guitar. So that would be the end of the first set. Now we're going to go into the second set, and the thing that's just not really tricky about it is that I have to switch guitars after the first two songs, okay? Butch, that was just the way I want it. You know, people watching this tape and they're saying, what a bastard he is. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So, what do you have for the first song?
First.
Second set, first song.
Time one.
Good, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good, good, good.
Good, good, good. Turn, 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 then officially switch guitars, which I will do. So, ready? Hold on. All right, we're good. Okay. So this next song is done by a group called The Birds. It's actually not written by the Birds. And it actually uses a piece from the Bible. Butch Boyce here is our residential biblical scholar. Butch, can you confirm that this is a passage from the Bible?
Ecclesiastes.
Not only can he confirm it, he's got it's Ecclesiastes. So, in any event, I think a trivia question will come out on this probably is who did this song, but we'll wait till afterwards. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to switch now. We're going to come back with Margaritaville. So what makes sense is to turn up the Mustang, right?
Yeah, or turn down the, yeah.
Turn up the Mustang. Okay, down.
I know you're disappointed, Don.
Randy, I'm going to tell you something. I am not disappointed.
Best way to do it is turn the volume down on the speaker, I just thought. That's the best way to do it, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
but then I got to turn the volume back up. I like the sound.
But the thing of it is, if something's wrong,
Yeah.
you turn the Mustang on, it's gonna explode.
All right, well, let's see if this works.
Did you already tune that?
Yep. Do you hear that, Butch?
Yeah.
You hear what he said?
Yeah.
Yeah, listen to him.
I was just wondering.
All right, well, let's see. See if I can tune it.
No, it'll work, but it's just if there's something wrong, you're gonna pay.
So we're starting with Margaritaville. Margaritaville?
Yeah.
So this next song, when Mr. Comfort is here from California, I'll mention the fact that Mr. Comfort and I did this song in his little house on 2nd Avenue in West Haven in 1970, God knows whatever. But anyway, great song. You ready? Count it off, Butch. Living on Coast Hill, watching the sun day. All of the tourists back of the window. Sitting on the porch step, on the porch step. I dreamt that I'd be anymore. Wasted away again in Margarita. Searching for my lost shaker of song. Some people claim that there's a world more to blame, but I know my comfort is all I hear. I don't know the reason. Stay here or sleep in. Nothing to show but the brand new tattoo. But it's a beauty case, wanting for today. How I got there, I don't know. Wasted away again in Margarita. Searching for my lost shaker of song. Some people claim that there's a world more to blame, but I know that it's Butch's fault. Blew out my flip-flop, stepped on a pop top. Cut my heels so I had to cruise home. But there's booze in the blender, and it's in the render. That frozen watching every day. Wasting away again in Margarita. Searching for my lost shaker of song. Some people claim that there's a world more to blame, but I know it's the drummer's fault. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Some people claim that there's a world more to blame, but I know it's the drummer's brother's fault. I really like the sound today. I think the sound is good. I'm almost thinking maybe I'm a little too loud.
I think you're good.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
I
then this is what we should be shooting for. Memories. I think I like that.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see
Try
how
it,
it
try it,
sounds.
yeah,
I'm
definitely.
gonna try it.
One. Two, three, four. sometime, everybody hurts someday. Everything will be alright. Go raise a glass and say, thanks to the ones that got. Yes, that's true. Back home memories of everything they've been through. Talk to the ones that stay. Talk to the ones that we lost all the way. 'Cause back home memories bring back memories. Bring back memories of you. There's a time that I remember when I never felt so lost, when I felt all the hatred too powerful to stop. Now my heart feels like an ember and lighting up the dark, and I carry as much as for you, never ever dry. Everybody hurts sometime, everybody hurts someday. Everything will be alright. Go raise a glass and say, here's to the one who got. Here's to the rich that you hear, which not to bring back those memories. Everything will be good. Go to the ones that came. Go to the ones that lost all the way. 'Cause it bring back those memories. And memories bring back memories of you. Okay, if we can, the sound is great, it was just a little too fast.
Way
Little
yeah,
too fast.
yes, it was. Yeah,
Butch, yes, come here for a second.
hang on.
Okay.
Why would,
Hold on. Stand right there. Butch, it was a little too fast.
oh, that was my fault.
Well, wait a minute, you are the drummer, you know.
Yeah, but you started it, you know.
He's got me there. Got a point. Jenny. Okay, whenever you're ready, Butch.
Ready?
Yep.
time I looked away from the guitar and played the wrong chord.
What do you think everybody else done?
Everything was good.
What do you think?
Good.
I thought it was good. Good
I thought it was-
sound.
I thought it was
Good
good
sound. Good sound. I want to make a note here.
You know what, maybe you might be a little too loud now,
Okay. I'm sorry, Randy, I couldn't hear you.
Good.
Am I too loud?
No,
Yeah, you're too loud too, jeez, you know?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
So is he loud because of his guitar or because of his?
Because I don't think you can hear me so well.
What do you think? He said you couldn't hear him.
Well, you better bang louder than him, what can I tell you?
Beast, what's he feeling? Let's keep going. But I do want to thank the drummer for his input. You know, input out one ear, output the other. Okay, see what you think after this song, I'll turn down, okay? It's the guitar. No,
It's okay with me.
No. I want it to be right. Is it the guitar or the singing or both?
I thought it was a guitar.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep.
I like
Randy, sound okay? Better, worse, same?
Good.
Good. That's Randy said, I want to get involved. All right, summer 69. Randy, we're going to keep going unless you, you need a break. I think we'll kill off this set. Well, I'm not sure how many more songs we have. Let me see. We got a bunch more. We'll just keep going. I think this set ends with, this set ends with No Time, but we got like 7 songs still to go. But yeah, we'll just keep going.
Ready?
So, Butch, tell the crowd, how old were you in the summer of 69?
3.
He was 3. He ain't 3 anymore. Yeah!
I got my first real 6-string, bought it at the 5 and dime, put it till my fingers bled. Was the summer of 69. The ends and lives had a band and we tried real hard. Jimmy quit, Jody got married, should've known we'd never get far. For another background, that summer seemed to last forever. And if I had a choice, yeah, I'd always want to be there. Those were the best days of my life. Ain't no use in complaining when you got a job to do. Spend my evenings down at the drive-in, and that's when all men do. Standing on your mama's porch, you told me that you'd wait forever. Then when you held my hand, I knew that it was now or never. Those were the best days of my life. Oh yeah, back in the summer of 69. Man, we're killing time. We were young and restless, needed to unwind. I guess nothing can last forever, forever. And now the times are changing. Look at everything that's come and gone. Sometimes when I play that old 6-string, take a thought you wonder what went wrong. Standing on your mother's porch, you told me that it lasts forever. Oh, when you held my hand, I knew that it was now or never. Those were the best days of my life. Oh yeah, back in the summer of 69. Oh yeah.
Look wide there.
Okay, Sunshine.
Keeps turning on the, you know how I put the spray in there? Now the noise.
Oh,
They're wondering, I'm like, where are the
is
wires?
that what happened there?
Yeah.
What happened?
I put that spray in the knobs the other day, you know, in the volume knobs. Now they're so loose, they're wandering. So, so it's wandered to, my bike was really.
Because of
high
vibrations.
before. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And now it wandered about high. That's not too loud, but the mic got really loud.
Sunshine, are you loud? Everybody knows what they gotta do? Talking to you?
No.
Yes, you gotta wait. I go twice, then you come in, then Butch comes in. Okay? Butch, let me know when you're ready.
Yep, ready.
I come in right after Bush comes in?
No. Bum 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 bum, bum,
Well, I
bum.
come in second.
You come in second, I come in third. 1, 2, 3.
I'll try.
Too fast.
Too fast.
Surrender.
Hi, Kate. Hey, I forgot his name. Hey.
How are you?
How's everybody?
How are your parents?
I was gonna bring him here.
You should. You gotta do it the night of the show. You gotta do it the night of the show.
No way.
Come on, that'd be part of the fun. How are you? I'm glad you stopped by.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Frank did a wonderful job earlier today.
I don't I'll watch him later. I just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
I listened to every word you guys say.
What's he reading?
All I
What's
was
he reading?
saying.
Yeah, see, Butch, you gotta be careful, Butch. You're out of line. Butch is out of line.
I'm gonna get my program off. I've never seen.
Oh, that's sweet.
Good to see you.
Let's start. Count for everybody.
Mother told me, yes she told me, I need girls like you. She also told me, stay away and I'll never know what you'll catch. Just the other day I heard of soldiers falling off some Indonesian junk that's going on like ice. Mommy's alright, daddy's alright, they just seem a little weird. Surrender, surrender, but don't give yourself away. Hey, hey. Father says your mother's right, she's really a thing. Before we married, mommy served in the wax in the Philippines. Now I had heard the wax recruited only for the war. But mommy isn't one of those, I've known her all these years. Mommy's alright, daddy's alright, they just seem a little weird. Surrender, surrender, but don't give yourself away. Hey, hey. Whatever happened to all the seasons, losers of the year? Every time I got to thinking where they disappear. When I woke up, mom and dad are rolling on the couch, rolling numbers, rocking, rolling Marcus records out. Mommy's alright, daddy's alright, they just seem a little weird. Surrender, surrender, but don't give yourself away. Hey, hey. Mommy's alright, daddy's alright, don't give yourself
it all.
So let's see what we really have left. We have the letter. Actually, we have the letter. We'll stop the rain in no time. That's the end of the set. Got a little quicker than I thought.
Yeah.
I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later. But that was not for public consumption. All right, let's hit it.
To me.
Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, we got two more songs. This next song is a Randy Pignataro classic, I must say myself. One, two, three, four. Long as I remember, we'll ladies and gentlemen, we're the Bethany Brothers. We're going to do one more song. And then we're going to take a break. We're going to be back, so hopefully you'll stay with us, drink lots of beer, and have a good time. This next song, I have to say that we do something, it's at the very end of the song, but we do something that you just don't get in rock and roll shows anymore. Hopefully we'll get it today, right, Butch? Here we go. Bethany Brothers. We'll be right back. Thank you so much.
This is a lot easier. To do the feedback, I was this far from the speaker. So
So that,